There we go.
Hey, what's up,
There,
man?
there we go. It's Valentine's Day. It is here. We are here. We celebrating Black Age. D, what's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just here with my partner in crime right here.
Smalls in the building.
Yeah,
What's up, Smalls?
she's asleep.
Oh man, she's knocked out. We gonna keep this quiet.
No, we cool. I got my headphones. She can't hear. So
Okay, cool. If y'all notice, I'm wearing my microphone misfits, gear. I
what?
can now represent it now completely. Yeah, this is one of my favorites right here. So
Uh,
yeah, we go rock tonight, man.
yeah.
So as you all know from the last show, we're doing um, the Black Age of Comics shows for all through February to represent what creator, founder, and the father of the Black Age, Tertel Only, started back in 1993. A movement to spotlight, Black creators and characters, and to give us a space to represent ourselves. We've done this for 3 years. This is the fourth year. Unfortunately, Tertel he passed earlier this year, and we've had if you Google his name Tertel Only, you'll see all the shout outs. They just did a nice report about him,
Oh
ICV2,
yeah. Yeah.
which was really cool. So we're gonna carry that legacy on. We're gonna continue it. We were supposed to have a guest tonight, another Black Age veteran. His name is Rodney Jenkins from Kiss Me Comics. He's represented with us a couple times, well, a few times at the DuSable Museum, Black Age of Comics. He's had some health. He's got some health issues going on with his family, so we may be able to get him. Well, he's keeping me posted. He couldn't really do anything this Friday, but maybe next Friday we can actually have him on. But I told him, Godspeed. I'm giving him positive
Yes,
force.
man.
Prayers
Bless
are
you.
with him. Yeah.
Bless
Uh,
you.
and I've been getting, and we may have him or another guest come on and rap with us about the Black Age of Comics. But
Health is wealth, man. Health
it
is wealth.
is.
Man. You gotta take care of yourselves and all that. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, Junior?
So we didn't do this in the last show because we dedicated that entire show to Tertel and to Ken Ray, who was one of the first um, people to go to a Black Age show, which was a dope show. But usually me and D have the pull list. We talk about stuff that's going on in the culture, and D's gonna really appreciate this one because we're gonna talk about his favorite character in the whole wide world. If you listen to any of our Punks of Rage radio shows, you'll know that D Nick's favorite superhero in the whole wide world is Falcon. You know, he's gonna get coy about it now, but let me just say, Falcon is his guy. So we was waiting on the
You don't like Bird Negro. Let's be honest.
we was waiting we was waiting on Captain America 4. They I've heard so many stories about this movie. It's ridiculous. I'm sure if you tapped in,
Oh
everybody's
yeah.
heard stories about the reshoots and the pre-press is not doing well in the screenings and such, and they've done reshoots and multiple reshoots, and now it's here. And now the review embargo is over, and I go to certain channels to look at this stuff, and it's not been great.
It hasn't been
So
bad though. It hasn't been bad. The reviews haven't been fully bad though.
that's
They've been
true.
they've been mixed.
And it's weird because usually for a Marvel film, for the most part, not all of them, especially after in game, I get kind of hyped to see it, and even before I kind of was. I'm gonna see it, and I might see it so we can talk about it next week. But and like D said, the reviews weren't horrible. Actually, Richard Roper here, a critic here in Chicago, gave it a. He has a was spin or not type of critique, and he says spin on this, so he gave it a pass. But if you go around the internets and you go around the reaction channels, people got varying degrees, of thoughts as it relates. Marvel has not been on the biggest win streak, so they kind of need this one to kind of stick. Um, are you going to see it anytime soon, D? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna see it, fairly soon. Even though I'm not a big fan of that character or you know that character becoming Captain America. Not a big fan of that at all. Wasn't the biggest fan of like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I will say I think it's more of a grounded, like it's scaling back. I like what they're doing with it from everything that I see. That's going on with it. I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of that character, and they're like, he's basically, from what you can tell from the trailers, he's like Iron Man light and Black Panther light. He's like a diet Iron Man and diet Black Panther. And I'm just like, man, that is so cheesy. And then like his sidekick, the new Falcon, and I respected that. I didn't like that character in the comics, the new Falcon, and it's just like, I don't know. It's as bad as that character is. Like the it being the Falcon is the one thing that made like Sam Wilson special, and so just the shield and the wings, and then you got a sidekick with wings. It's just like, oh my goodness. But
And yeah, and then his nemesis, from what it looks like, is the Red Hulk in this, which is kind of like a crazy sort of bad guy to face in this kind of story. Like the Red Hulk is the Red Hulk, and it's played by Harrison Ford. Like, shout out, I heard Harrison Ford was really amped to be in Marvel or the MCU and really dove into the character. So shout out to Harrison Ford for that. But the Red Hulk versus the Falcon, or sorry, versus Captain America and the Falcon, I'm sure it's some more twist than that. But I'm gonna see it just so I can kind of report back the next time we do a show. But I was like, man, they not giving me what I want with these reviews. So, we'll
I
see.
hope I hope Stan ain't turning in his grave over this. That's all.
I hope. I'll say this though, the one thing I did hear that's dope, finally, that they actually uh, adamantium is now in the MCU, um, as canon, as far as like, if you guys saw the Eternals, which, man, oh man, I went to the theaters for that. Anyway,
Bum, bum,
uh,
wow.
anyway, it's a celestial who's about to be born on Earth, which will, if he's born on Earth, it'll tear the Earth apart. So, I mean, I'm spoilers, sorry for those. um, and the Eternals stop him, but we find out, I think that's where we get adamantium from, which is dope to me. Like, I actually like that concept as far as this new Captain America movie. So I dig that. Um, moving forward, still sticking with Marvel though. So a couple things happened recently,
Oh
and I want
yeah.
to get your thoughts on this as it relates to famed creator Rob Liefeld, who I grew up with. A lot of us did. He's taking hits, and Rob is at the age now where, if you, and I'm on his on one of his pages, he doesn't take any flack no more. If you hit him, he's gonna hit you back, and he's taking the gloves off. But anyway, he article came out about, or actually, it was him talking about him not being uh, able to attend I think, was it the Deadpool Wolverine after party? I think they shut him out or what have you, didn't let him in, and
Wow.
he felt some type of way. And then he kind of, if you go to his podcast, go to it's called Robservations. You can just Google it; it'll pop right up, and he
Yeah.
talks about it in detail. And another part that came up is because I think he actually wanted a credit in that. He wanted like a when they do the beginning
Created
credit.
by. He wanted
Yeah,
to
he wanted that. He didn't
wanted a
want the
created
yeah, he didn't.
credit.
They didn't get it, and then so I looked it up, and I found out that he and Fabian, I'm not gonna pronounce this well, Nicieza, created Deadpool. And one of the things that I want to talk to you about, D, as far as who owns what, is like, we knew Deadpool as the Merc when those two guys created. I remember the New Mutants and X Force when I first saw them.
You're right. I
Joe
have those
Kelly.
two things.
Oh yeah, so, yes, Joe Kelly is the one who implemented the fourth wall break, which became a trademark of Deadpool. And
Mm-hmm.
some people will argue, does Joe Kelly deserve some of the credit for that, or does he get a character creation for doing that? In your opinion, Deadpool's already in existence as a character, his name, everything. But that fourth wall break is a big deal as it relates. Does Joe Kelly deserve any kind of creative credit, or does he just happen to be a writer who did something nice for the character?
Man, are you asking me legally or morally?
Either way, because I got a thought too. So I'll let you rock it. I'll
Okay. Legally, no.
yeah.
No. You're because I'm a musician, so I always attribute it to music as well. In these creative art spaces, especially comics. I've heard people say it's not like music. It is because comics have multiple copyrights and a song has multiple copyrights. Music has session musicians and session producers, and so does comedy. They have line arts, inkers, and all of that stuff. I say all that to say, implementing such a concept that sticks, as a creation, you're hired to be a writer, so no different than you're being hired to be a session musician. And so no, you don't. You should be bigged up like, yo, this writer did this. Like, but as far as creation, that's not creating, that's implementing some cool stuff into this character. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? And it's
yeah.
not a creation. And I don't even think morally it should be mentioned that this is the person that took Deadpool to be the merc with the mouth. Like, this was the guy that did this. That's cool. That's fair. Like, um who was the writer on Batman that decided Batman's going to be anti-guns? Because when Batman, and I have those books as well, when Batman was first created, he kept a Glock.
Early on, he sure did.
Like, he had a
You get popped. You mess up in Gotham in the early
he
days.
didn't even have no revolver. He had a Glock. Like,
I remember
so
that. I remember that
so
was very early on.
so
Yeah.
so there was a writer. I don't believe it was Bob Kane. There was a writer that was like, we're gonna put the guns away, and in fact, there was another writer that was made him anti-guns. Like, no, I'm anti-guns. I hate guns, and all. Like, that's become a part of his mythos. But that
Hmm.
wasn't. But that person that was like, I'm gonna make Batman hate guns and have this honor code with guns. That ain't that Joker don't deserve a creation credit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but we should big up that because that's a linchpin in the story,
Hmm.
as a writer. So I mean, what you think, Joe? You agree, disagree?
Here's what I thought. Because when I first heard that, I said, "Man, that's a big part of what makes Deadpool Deadpool." The Merc with the mouth, like his Ryan Reynolds, at least in the movies, or even in the comic, he got popular in the comics. Thus, they turned him into a movie franchise. But that was a key part of it. It became synonymous with that character. The moral thing, like you said, like it become, since now he's a $1 billion character, is going to be excruciatingly legal as it relates to character creation. And I mean, as much as Joe Kelly contributed, you know, they probably gonna like use the creator of Rob Liefeld and Fabian as the creators. Like, that's just
They're,
what it
that's
is.
they are the creators.
Yeah, and it's just what I mean. Like you said, he added something really cool to that character. But like, it's a lot of stories. We can go way back into other
And
creators.
an amazing baseline. That was
Yeah,
an amazing baseline. All right.
you
Like,
know,
it's, I'm sorry, not sorry. Like,
man. And I
we,
used to, I love Joe Kelly had a good run on the X-Men. Like him and Scott Lobdell on the, I think it was the X-Men and on I can't remember exactly, but I remember they had a good, both of them, but great writers. But yeah, that's the bit. And like I said, now with this character being as pricey as it is, there's gonna be a lot of they're gonna have that legal work airtight. So it's gonna be what it is. But yeah, I was just curious about that. And if anybody listening, you want to hear that interview in depth about not necessarily about that, but about Rob Liefeld talking about Deadpool and him being a creator, check out his podcast. Is Robservations. I can't. It was one of the top 3 ones. I think it's in the title of one of the podcasts. Is interesting, and like I said, Rob is not holding back these days. So he's letting people know how he feels with no filter. Shout out to Rob.
And artists gotta, and I get it. We gotta fight for everything, and you gotta be careful for who creates what. Big up to Tortel. That's why Tortel was always. That was one of the reasons Tortel, was adamant about people not adding on to his characters or like doing, like not like almost being protesting against fan art in a way, and that's a rare thing for artists. But if you do something like that and it becomes synonymous with the character, like man, like what's man, like Todd McFarlane, what he did for Spider-Man with the webs and the poses.
That's a great point.
But does he deserve creation for Spider-Man? He deserves to be respected and honored and being like, yo, this dude took Spider-Man to the top. But does he deserve creation?
Nah. That's a very good point. That's a
I don't even know who the animators or what the staff was on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that decided to take them from them all having red bandanas, and the only thing that differentiated them in the comics, and the comics originally was black and white, so you only see it from the covers, and even the first covers was black and white, but we knew that they were all red bandanas, and the only thing that differentiated the turtles was their weapons. That was it. They were basically, I don't know, they weren't, what's 4, like quadruplets or something like that. Whatever.
They were quads.
They were quads. But then whatever person decided, like, you know what? I'm finna give them different colored bandanas. Red, blue, orange, and purple. And they're gonna have a personality with those colors. Like whoever came up with that stuck to this day.
Dude, that is marketing genius at its best. It is. I don't know who did that, but whoever you are, salute.
I mean, just doing, just doing the job. Like whoever did that was just doing the job. Like, we got to differentiate. I got to watch the toys that made us, because to find out they might.
I don't even think they mentioned it because I watched it. I don't think they mentioned the person or the because I remember thinking, because anybody who reads the turtles the books are excruciatingly violent. The turtles and the foot soldiers weren't robots and androids; they were people. And when they came across you, you're gonna bleed. So they toned that down a bit, and then like D said, whoever decided to make those bandanas to really give each turtle an identity and a sort of a more than just the weapons, that it seems small, but there's a brilliant detail.
Detail.
And to your point, I don't think that person got cut into the creative profits.
Like morally, you should honor, like, this is the person that took it to the next level, but like you ain't the creator,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not. Like, it just is what it is. Like, there's, like, you can think about all of the things that other artists have done for Punk's Rage and for like Escape from Babylon, Microphone Misfit series, Plug and all of that stuff. But like artists have done things like I, as someone who was writing the theme song for Punks of Rage, I just remember like as I'm reading and rereading and rereading and trying to figure out things to inspire lyrics. I was like when it came to Dodger, speaking to Braun, this last cat's a massive titan, two bats, a hockey mask, and an act for fighting. You know,
The
like the
Dodger.
snack,
He's
you know,
saying,
and so I'm
"Go
thinking
Punks
that, and
Rage."
then, but in the book, Dodger wasn't like a two, like him having two bats wasn't a signature
No,
of him. That was something that Glyph like had drew.
right.
Glyph don't get credit for creating for creating Dodger or like you know what I'm saying. You might want to be like, oh, Glyph was the one that thought it was cool to give Dodger these two bats, and and then same thing if you like, oh, Dinick was the one that personified it because he put it in the song, like that
Right.
cemented it. Like, nah, we don't. I don't get credit for that, and Glyph don't get credit for that either. You can honor it, like, man, he made Dodger cool with the two bats. I laugh because I always think about Spicy like making fun of those two bats, the way Dodger was holding them. It was like,
Man, Spicy critiqued. Anyway, that's a whole nother. Spicy probably listen to this later, but Spicy knows what's up with
yeah,
the critiques of Glyph. But what I want to get into. I mean, you got any more for the pull list? Because I got some.
no, um,
Go ahead.
the Fantastic Four. I don't know if you had,
Oh yeah. What do you
yeah,
think? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go first on this one, man.
go for it. Go for it.
So as a kid, man, Fantastic Four was one of those like because I hear people say, well, if FF is boring or they're not really superheroes, and it's like they're really not per se, but they're an integral. They're the first family of Marvel, and they're and very integral, especially Reed Richards, a very integral part of the Marvel universe as it stands. Like it's a lot of things that team has done that has really sort of like either they've teamed up with the Avengers or some other team to stop like they like spoilers for the people who don't know about FF. They stopped Galactus from eating the planet. So they deserve credit for that. So anyway, trailer drops. MCU is gonna do a new Fantastic Four. Or sorry, the Marvel Studios is gonna do their first Fantastic Four movie. It's been two. This will be the third one. They did. No, I'm sorry, it'd be the fourth. They did two from the original one with Chris Evans and that crew. Then they did one with like Michael B. Jordan. So I never saw it, but everybody said it won that great. I don't
No,
know. I just never attracted to seeing it. And then now they're doing this one, and Pedro Pascal as the lead as Mister Fantastic, and I liked it. I liked that trailer. And, I'm optimistic. Like and it's setting it. There's a scene. It's a very small scene. This is why I think that the people got it, and it's in this trailer. Out of the Fantastic Four, you know the characters: Invisible Woman, Mister Fantastic, Human Torch, and the Thing. He's the only one that's affected by the cosmic rays that transformed him from a human
exteriorly, they're all
exterior.
affected.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're right. You're right. In the exterior manner, where he can't turn his off, and he struggles with that. It doesn't come up a lot, but every once in a while it will come up as he struggles. If you came back, if you are a big rock man instead of a human, your human form, you struggle too. But there's a scene. He's walking past the TV and he's looking at himself. He's the rock form. He got a trench coat and a hat, a fedora, and the way I don't know how the actor, I don't know what it was, but the way his eyes focus in on what he used to look like. He's looking at a picture of himself in this
Hmm.
like kind of like the department store. It's like a TV, and his eyes tell it's so much with that one shot. I said, whoever's doing this, they get it, like because they captured a moment. Even I'm just looking at them like that's it right there. That's it. But it's only a teaser. It's only like a minute 30, minute maybe a minute 40.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's giving me. I would want to see this first day vibes for that one. Anyway, go ahead, D. What are your thoughts on it?
Man, Pedro Pascal's mustache really bothers me.
Oh, that's right, because that's right. I forgot. I didn't even think about that, but
It just bothers me, and
yeah.
you know I'm biased. Like I'm I'm one of those people. I'm cool with the comic like outfits. I'm
Mm,
okay. I'm pro comic book outfits. You can try to modernize them as best you can or best you want to, like. And sometimes you make sense, And I'm like, I'm not gonna fight that, but I'm a like outfit like comic accurate outfit dude.
mm.
Like just maybe you want to update it a little bit, but like an example, a side tangent is like what you call it, the Wolverine and Deadpool. It's like, man, we finally got to see Wolverine with the mask. Like that's important. So like, and that's the cool thing about this FF trailer is they're in like different variations of their costumes with the white and the blue, and it's like, whoa. But Pedro Pascal's mustache, it just bothers me because it's so not Reed Richards. That's so not a Reed Richards thing. Like that mustache, like it
Outside of the mustache, do you think he was you think he was a good cast in your? I mean, just from the trailer, like, or even just the speculation. Because there was a lot of going on about the casting of Reed Richards in particular. You
I
know,
mean, yeah, if you shave that mustache, but but I mean, I like where they're going with the Fantastic Four. I like that it's a period piece.
yeah.
I really like that. I like that it is a different, like, and I'm so sick of multiverse stories, but I like that this is a multiverse story.
Hmm.
Like I'll contradict that because I just really like that it's going into the explorer aspect of the FF. I the thing when people say that Fantastic Four is boring, if you they are, if you take the one thing, which is a big thing that made them interesting. The one thing that made them interesting is they are explorers that happen to do heroic stuff. So everything interesting about them is their exploration into different heroes. Like a lot of heroes got debuted with them,
Black
like
Panther.
Black Panther is the biggest, but
Hmm.
the Inhumans, Guardians of the Galaxy, you know what I'm saying? All of these people, when the first time the modern 616 got to see
And Silver Surfer, right? Was the Silver Surfer
yes,
debut? Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes, the first time because they were fighting Galactus, and
Yeah.
that's how they got hit the Galactus. The first time anybody got to meet any of these characters was because it was through explorers.
Hmm.
It was through the FF, and you know like we just said, Guardians of the Galaxy, we Black Panther, Silver Surfer, the Inhumans. um Man, it's insane. Like Spider-Man's first issue was he was meeting the Fantastic Four. And I'm talking about Amazing Fantasy. That was the first time, but his first, the Spider-Man one, the
Hmm.
Fantastic Four was there. They
Okay.
were basically because he was like, man, I want to do this superhero thing. I want to join the Fantastic Four. We'd be the Fantastic Five because I don't want to do this on my own. And like, there's this whole thing with that. Like, that's the first Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man issue. You know,
It's a great what if story about that too. Like, what if Spider-Man had actually joined the FF? Like, and one of
exactly.
the most brilliant, like, to think about them as a five some instead of the four, and then with Spider-Man's skill set with what they had already. Oh my, like, that's it was a very good story. The Fantastic Four was almost unstoppable as the four. You add Spidey to them, and then he's got the intellect to go, like, kind of like how he does with Tony Stark in the MCU. But like, imagine that with Reed Richards, who's, I think he's considered the smartest person in Marvel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Reed
Uh,
is. Yeah.
but that would have been insane. I wanted to get into something real quick, as it's not relates to that, but we looking forward to FF. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I am. I am. I'm glad they're dialing back to the Explorer thing and kind of retroactively, like making them introduce or reintroduce these people.
Because I heard this is just a rumor, but I heard that they're not in the 616, which is the
Nope.
sacred timeline of Marvel, both the MCU and
Comics.
the comics. But some sort of way they're gonna end up in the 616 is what I hear. So it'll be
Hmm.
interesting to see how they pull that off. So we'll see. Stay tuned on that, because I gotta go see that one. And like I said, I will go see Brave New World to see exactly where the MCU is. Because is this phase 5 right now, right? This is the first one.
I thought this was phase 4,
I think this might,
like
because
the end of phase 4.
I think Wakanda Forever ended phase 4. I had to go look that up to be certain,
I don't
but
know if it ended or if this is the end of it.
it might be. I got to go and look, but and MCU has been in a flux. I mean, this company made a lot of money over a decade plus, and they're trying to keep that train rolling. So we'll see how they go with these next few movies and TV shows. We got Daredevil, Brave New World. I mean, not Brave New World. Daredevil, Born Again coming soon.
Yes.
I'm really interested in that, because I thought, and they bringing all the characters back from that show.
Yeah, the
But
Netflix universe.
from the Netflix, yeah. Um, so a couple things, right? We talk about, this is Black Age. We represent the Black Age of comics and Tertel only, and the founder of the Black Age and such. And he had a bunch of catchphrases and themes when he went about his business. You've heard him, if you've ever heard him talk. He'll use the phrase rhythmatism, which relates to his take on his style and how he does his comics. Um, uh, Indie now, Black Age forever. It's one of
Yeah.
his catchphrases. And then one of the things we used when we did a Black Age Forever show years ago. And he had these. I looked him up. He added a fifth, but I call it the 4 C's. He added a fifth recently, or before his passing. The 4 C's, now 5 C's, are creativity, culture, content, commerce, and collecting. Let me say that one more
I
time.
remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. When we
Create.
interviewed him, he said that.
Yep. Creativity, culture, content, commerce, and collecting. I think the one that's new is content, because I remember writing that down when we did the other one. I put it on a poster, and that wasn't there. But I'm gonna kind of merge content and creativity into one as we go. I figured today will be a day where me and D kind of go about that
I
as
remember there were 3 C's. Yeah, I do remember that. It was 3 C's. The 4 C's threw me off. Say that again.
it was four, and then he added a fifth. So
Oh,
the original four was creativity, culture, commerce, and collecting. And
okay,
then
that's what it was.
recently he added content too. So, which is a good C. um, but we're gonna cover a few of these what we can, and
Let's
I
do it.
figured, the C. So, and when I went through this, I'm like, I don't know about the content part, but the one I wanted to cover first, and with the C's, is culture. Um, Tortel was big on building that, the culture of comics, and that's not an easy thing to do, because to me the culture of comics is always in flux, especially as the new generations come into the art form and appreciating it. Their tastes may differ from older generations' tastes as it relates to like comics. And me and D, we're saying that now, as it relates to what the younger generations are into now versus, I mean, they're still into the traditional comics, and stuff like that. But a lot of younger fans lean toward what, at least in my experience, more manga, more anime style comics. They're still into it, but just that art form. Um, Building a culture does it of comics. We do the Black Age events, we do the conventions, we have social media pages to represent what in you. D sits on the board of one of the bigger shows in Chicago, PocketCon. um and they've definitely built a culture over the years. It's a 10 plus year
Yeah,
old convention, and they do a
13,
lot.
13, yeah, 13 years.
We can't do just comics anymore, right? We've kind of figured that out. Like, just comics isn't gonna cut it really, as like to build a culture. Is it integral now to like add? When I go to PocketCon, it's a lot of things going on. You got cosplay, you got concerts, you got video games, you got a lot of things. But a bunch of kids are coming in to take a part, to be a part of it, and to do what they like to do. Some people like to play video games, some people like comics, what have you. When you guys are putting that all together, is it a conscious effort to have these different pillars to represent the current, like, to build a culture around these different things versus just comics now?
Um, so when you say a culture of comics, like when you first say, I was initially like, are you talking about our culture that we put into the comics, or are you talking about the culture of the that medium?
Well, yeah, well,
So
yeah,
I take it that you mean the culture of the medium of the floppies and all of that type of stuff. Um, I
yeah,
think was I think what's happened in comics is that comics are kind of the mascot for nerd and geek culture,
hmm,
have turned into they're basically like, if you ain't careful, they're going to turn into Mickey Mouse. Whereas they're just going to be just that, just the mascot. You know,
mm,
you have to, like, if you look at Disney, Mickey's just the mascot. Like,
right.
there's not any, there's not any cool cartoons with Mickey and all of this type of stuff. You could even say the same about Looney Tunes. It's just they just got a lot of them. But you're talking about Bugs Bunny. Not that there's not a lot of Disney cartoons, but like Mickey is surely just a mascot,
Mm.
for Disney. And Tinkerbell and just a mascot for Disney. So the trick is, like, you have to build that up. And it's like, do we love the stories, or do we love the medium of a floppy? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Okay, so all right, okay, so I get your point now, and I'm gonna add to that. So the medium as a whole versus the floppy. So this is funny because it is a term. I'm gonna get into that part in the commerce part of this, but the floppy is what I'm gonna stay on that, like, because like I don't know if we have. Hmm, I think the draw to the floppy is still there, and I'm about to do C2E2 this year. I'm gonna give that a test again and see how viable it is. But we've been saying this on the radio show for God years. It's changing. It's ever changing. Like how we
Right.
take this stuff in. The reason I bring up the culture part and as it relates to Turtel, because back when, especially in his era, and even in my early era, the floppy was the culture. We didn't have an MCU. We didn't have a streaming service. Like, everything was about the floppy, and to a certain extent, the graphic novels. Um, so when I bring this all back around, like, fast forward to now, um, trying to figure out, because it could be a thing where there's no other, like, this generation will dictate what where it goes, no matter what we say and or do. Like it may not be a thing we can build a culture around, a thing that's just not what's in like that anymore. Like people still buy comics, sure, but
Yeah.
at the volume that it used to be. And I read somewhere because you get mixed reports about this all the time. I read that we're still growing in comic sales and physical sales. So Batman had a record, I think, was it 400,000 paper books sold last year, which I haven't seen that number since like the late 90s or early 2000s. So but here's the thing about that book: it's absolute Batman, and it's kind of like an adult oriented book. So
Yeah.
so building the culture, I think to get, like you said, I think comics is sort of like the draw, and then once you like, that's like the sort of like the it's like this, it's like the thing used to say, hey, there's gonna be a lot of this type stuff here, but comic books, and people come and they get comics, sure, but like it's a lot of the things that they can get involved in too, to keep it going. I don't know. I remember a long time ago, me and Sean, my studio mate, we was trying to like do these networking um, things called Zion, and the attempt was to sort of build this sort of thing. It went for a while, but like you gotta you don't want to force nobody into this stuff. You kind of want it to, breathe on its own, But yeah, so the culture of it, like I said, Turtel was instrumental in that. Like he Pocket Con was the Black Age. Dusable was the catalyst to build PocketCon, which still is growing to this day. It's still moving. Just had it in December, and I was there and saw people come and fellowship, and last time I saw Turtel actually, and yeah, it was a good thing. I think
The cloth to wipe her mouth.
Let me see.
Yeah.
The other C, I'm
Sorry,
gonna go in. No, you're okay. I'm gonna go with commerce as the second one, right?
Yeah.
Which is gonna draw back to what we had just a moment ago as far as culture goes. Um, uh, Turtel was big on putting physical racks in different stores. He was a proponent of
I'm
having.
sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. Before you get in, did that make sense when I was talking about like the the culture of like comics and as
Yeah,
far as that go? Yeah.
because actually it's funny because I won't bring the show up on this show because I don't want to in case they see us be like what, but it's a show that does this, and they use, they don't know, they use it's Afro Nerd, and they use Urkel as like their logo, or they used to at least, and
Right.
it's like the mascot for that, what they're going to talk about. So yeah, it made perfect sense actually, and we see that not just at PocketCon, we see that at bigger shows, you know. So yeah, hey Smalls,
Just like
she's like I gotta spend time with dad, but we're gonna wrap, because we
no,
only
we
got
can finish. We can finish, Joe. Like, I gotta do double duty.
the commerce part was with Turtel. He was, if anybody who watches this and knows, you guys know, he was a big proponent of the Black Age rack, a old school rack of comics with Black Age characters and books in it, right? Me and him personally went around the city a few
Oh
times,
yeah.
putting them or attempting to convince different stores to hold this rack. um the commerce part of it was like, he became his own distribution channel for these books. When certain stores didn't take it, me and him, I said, let's try barbershops, because we got a lot of people going in
Yeah.
and out of barbershops. We started doing barbershops. Just deal, and then I think the commerce part also deals with working amongst each other. Like, how do we conduct business amongst ourselves? That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a whole other topic, but it's a topic we'll handle at another date. The physical book, we've had this conversation, God, at least 10 million times on our show. The physical floppy book. I'm gonna be specific. The North American version of comics. Um, in your opinion, I'll give mine too. Is that in 5 years? No, will we have a viable book that we could sell? I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say viable. Will the physical book be something that you can actually? I guess this can vary. Make money off of. Will will the consumer want to have a physical thing in their hand? In your opinion, versus a digital PDF or just a digital book? Read on a tablet.
We do.
You
I
do,
do. Like,
yeah.
I don't. I mean, I people, and I'm biased, but people have said like, oh, the floppies are like, they're kind of da 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 dying or whatever, and you got a lot of people that are going to streaming comics, just like we have people going to streaming like music. It's same, like they go on webtoons and all of this stuff, and they're streaming their comics and they're streaming their music, but I still sell CDs because I'm not selling it to casual fans. I'm selling it to music lovers. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling it to comic book lovers, and it's just learning. Like, if I listen to people, I've I basically got two dying mediums and I put them together to have one strong medium. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. It's just
Yo,
I'm working. I'm focused on, like, so when we talk about the commerce and the culture, it's just like then we have to pay attention to the real commerce. Who are the real people? Like, and this is where it gets really tricky. It gets really tricky, and people call you like an elitist or a separatist or any of that type of stuff. But the truth is, like, man, we got bills. Like, yeah, like we got bills, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
she she
she,
she co-signed it.
yeah, she smiled and laughed about that. Like, yeah, we got bills. I'm expensive. Like, like, but yeah, man, we got bills and all of this type of stuff. So how do we, what do we do? We don't, we unfortunately don't have the time to focus on people that are not real, like, consumers of this mediums. And if you don't consume, then you don't participate in the commerce, and there's no reciprocity, and I don't get to care about you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And it sucks, man, because like that even kind of goes against me spiritually, where it's just like, man, I'm this. I want everybody to have it. I wish I could give it away, but I can't. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because this one needs diapers and formula, and I need to pay these bills and all of this type of stuff. And so it all connects. And that's part of the culture too. So the culture of comics, and it all connect. The culture of comics and the commerce has to be, they have to connect. And it's almost on some boutique type of thing. Like, we gotta really lock in on the who are the lovers of this. Like, and this too, Joe. Man, there's so many people who like care about, they like they get mad at the bigger cons. That's what I was trying to say. They get mad at the bigger cons because the bigger cons have turned into pop cultural events. And so they're no longer the niche. We got people who are saintsters that just want to go there and be seen. They just want to go to C2E2 because it's the place to be. And they like, or they want to meet their favorite celebrity and like call it one.
Yo,
And that's, and
that's what.
then indie guys, like, well, not me, because I'm cool with that. Like, all right, that's what you do. You keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? But there's other indie guys that get upset, you know, because they're like, man, like they don't even care about it. But those people aren't our audience.
Right.
Those people are not. That's not who we ever sold it to.
It's funny to me though, as it relates. I mean, this is off topic, but on
Right.
on topic. The first few people advertised for C2E2 were like one comic books, one comic book creators
Yeah.
that I saw. It was celebrities, so I was like, oh, okay, you know, the writing's on the wall. But so yeah, I think those three that you just named connect, or those two connect perfectly. I'm gonna put these two together. These two seeds.
Well, you don't
Content.
even have to. They kind of trigger off of each other.
Well, yeah, they do, and that's why I think that's the brilliance of the
Yeah.
five C's, because it's like
Yeah.
they all work together. But content and creativity is the reason I wanted to put those, because
So we got culture and commerce, and now
commerce,
we're on.
content, and and creativity. As it
Okay.
relates to me, these are the last three are the fun ones that because when you're an indie guy, you got to cover all those: culture, commerce, all five C's. You know, creativity, and then the last one was collecting and content.
Mhm.
Your book, I'm gonna talk about mine as well, but your book, Escape from Babylon, is 6 volumes in, and you
Mhm.
described it as a satirical comic book.
Mhm.
What's the fun part? What was the reason, and what's the fun part of doing that? Like, what's the, because there's a bunch of genres in comics, fantasy, superhero. You can go in any different direction in comics. That's the beauty of the medium. You know, what was the reason for that? What was your inspiration for that? For to make it a satirical book and to uh, express it
I
in that way.
It was a puzzle. Like I wanted to talk about the group, my group, the Microphone Misfits. I wanted to talk about them, like all of us, you know, and so that was one. And then I also like, man, I want to like this. I wanted to vent about the business,
Mm,
like, you know, but I didn't want to be mean spirited. But I
right.
wanted to vent and like make fun of how utterly stupid some things that we go through in the business. And the best way I could do that is like, you know, be satirical, you know, like totally be satirical. Um, and and be fun and be funny and all of that type of stuff. So that was why. And I could make it like just a big parody of what we go through and what we experience like in this business, because we experience some crazy stuff, like some super crazy stuff, and it's like, man, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is wacky. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
even from not just from the business, but like consumers and fans, like say crazy stuff to us and put you on weird pedestals that you don't deserve or belong on. And it's like, man, let's have fun with that. Like
Right.
even like our last book, we're coming off this so-called 50 years of hip hop thing, and there was a lot of young versus old, which these are things that I see, but I never experienced.
Mm,
Like I don't have young people looking at me like, oh man, old head and da 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 da, because I give to the youth. Like Alpha Squad is like I've never been jealous of them or offended by them, and they've never felt like I taught them some outdated stuff. They just like, oh, this is a springboard. So like it was like, okay, let's make fun of that. Let's make
yeah.
fun of that. You know what I'm saying? Let's make fun of so it's basically just picking at like the pedestal they put artists on and whatever's going on in the culture. Like I remember Damien talk about an artist that like created something. Damien Hampton created like one of the villains in Escape from Babylon, which is a cyborg named Autotune. And like,
That's a major villain too.
yeah, right? Like, what are you laughing? You laughing at that Autotune? You like Autotune? You know what I'm saying? So, but it's everywhere. And he was trying to mass produce Autotune. And we lost. We couldn't beat Autotune. Autotune is everywhere and all of this type of stuff. And so,
But they battled valiantly, everybody. So
yeah.
if when D's gonna give where you can find that book, pick those books up when he give you the link to grab those books. For me, I had a book, Punk's Rage, man, and I was always inspired. I used to run away from this, but it's plain. It's like I love TMNT growing up, and I was inspired by that. But I didn't know that later in life I would actually do, how I would create my book would be in that manner. So the content is very straightforward. Is stand up people in the neighborhood who don't let the bullies take over or win. They are the stand up guys and girls who go
And they
against the
and
bad
they
guys.
and
Yeah,
they take them out. They take them
yeah.
out hard.
They do, and then fast forward to Rage City, it's the same thing. Like that legacy continues of stand up folks who just don't let that bully come in and take over. I know it's simplistic, but the way you execute it, that's the creative part. That's what makes the creativity come into play, and you execute it, and hopefully it hits. And so far, quietly, it's been doing what it's supposed to do. So thank you guys who watched this and picked up the book. Shout out to Angel too. Angel's gonna watch this show.
Oh yeah.
um,
Big up
and
to
he's
Angel.
a big Rage City guy. So shout out to Angel for that. Um, the last part of this is the funnest part to me. To me, when you create comics, there's a part of you that is, if you're a fan and you're into it, you're still got that little that kid in you that really still enjoys what this thing is that we do. Collecting comics. Uh, I haven't. I'm gonna be honest in this one. When it comes to comics, I haven't had a particular title or titles that make me run to the store, or even actually you can just get on your iPad and dial up and get whatever you want. But back in the day, you used to go to the store on Wednesday, and that was the day when new comics came out, and you grabbed the new whatever it was. Back in the day, it was Image and Milestone and varying indie guys who was just creating nonstop. Every Wednesday, you get something new. Currently, I collect graphic novels, and I'll pick
Oh
up
yeah, I do. Yeah.
certain things, certain runs that I'm really sort of into. Lately though, of late, has there been one particular book that I've been? What was the last? D, can you remember the last book, or does anything you're collecting now, or the last thing that you just you couldn't miss?
I was collecting Saga was probably the newest one.
Same, yeah.
And then I was back on when I noticed that Hellboy was back to like they finished the series, but they were just like, you know what, there's so many years. Like Hellboy's been around. Well, the story of Hellboy exists, not that it's been around, but it exists between 1940 what 5 or 44 and to the early 2000s. So it's like, man, we could talk all of these different stories of Hellboy. So I was like, I started because I was I collected all the Hellboy books. So I was like, man, I want that, like again. And so yeah, man, like, and I've just been big on collecting some indie books if they can hold me. Like I was trying to get into this new Spawn. It just didn't hold me.
Same.
And that's the thing. Like what's after Collector?
That was it. That was the last one. Collecting was the last C. Oh, what you mean? As
Well,
far
like
as
in the seas, yeah. What was
that was
before?
that was collecting. Oh, before it was creativity and content.
Content. So content, that I don't know. We delved into content. Do we skip content?
No, I just put creativity and content in one. We can go into it, but like I could,
Content is the thing. Like
yeah,
I think that's the thing that adds to collective, because by being like nerds, and we're freaking completionists.
yeah,
And so content is an important one, because if the content ain't worth like collecting, we don't collect it.
that's true. And trying to think about like what has, because like to say that the content of it, like that's true. But I know what I'll add to that, to the content, because like it when it comes to, we often we had a show about genres, the different genres
Yeah.
that we enjoy. And I was thinking about to myself, uh because now that I'm older, it's now okay. I can go into that. Like, I used to, because younger me used to collect Archie and comic strips and funny stuff. Now that I'm older, the content I relate to more is like the more of the adult comics, and it's funny now. I'll say this too. Some of the books, like say, like D, if you notice, DC is taking a more adult angle with their content, so they're appealing to readers probably in their late 20s, 30s, 40s. They're appealing to us, So and they're doing well so far, But they say, to keep the industry alive, you gotta bring in younger readers.
Yeah, you do.
But and I agree. But like I'll say this for what they're doing at DC, because you go to the DC part of any comic book store, they'll have some regular stuff, but they got a large chunk of adult oriented stuff, or stuff that says mature readers and things like that. So the content is key from the reader standpoint and as a creator. Like, I think my stuff kind of blurs the line. I think mine is like 13 on, at least I'll say that. I can
Yeah,
keep it
yeah, I think
up.
so too. Same
But
with me.
yeah, but
But
yeah,
that's the. I don't think. I don't think that's what I was asking. Like, what was before
yeah,
collecting? Because without without content, it's not like no, it's not worth collecting.
agreed,
You
agreed.
know, and and I would add like I always tell people, like marketing 101. Who you talking to? Who you talking to?
I,
Like,
we
yeah,
used to
right.
I,
Who you talking
tell
to?
them, Smalls. We about to get up because we've actually gone past an hour. So we D, I think we handled all five C's. We're gonna go out. We're gonna come back next week and have a guest on, to talk about this stuff with us. The
Yes.
Black Age of Comics. I want D and Smalls to get some rest tonight. But before that, D, let the people know where they can find you on the interwebs if they want to.
Oh man, the microphonemisfits.com. We have, definitely pick up that Escape from Babylon Volume 6. It's an amazing like book. I won't say it completes the story, but it puts a nice bow on the entire series. And we'll see if we pick it back up or we going in a different direction. But you definitely want to get that. It gives a nice homage to the Alpha Squad. So Escape from Babylon Volume 6. And you can catch us on everywhere on like the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all of that, the TikToks, and Microphone Mistress. That's THEMICROPHONEMISFITZ, the Microphone Misfits.
Get you some flag
Who else
microphone
can it
misfits
be?
gear, Smalls. For me, just go to punksrage.com and you'll find my whole life. God, I just shook this. It's just blurred. So whoever watched this, I'm sorry for that blur in the end. But anyhow, we're still representing Black Age this entire month.
Yes.
The 21st, we're gonna. I'm not sure who the guest is gonna be. I'm gonna talk to some people, but you guys will know. I know the camera. I'm gonna give me a better camera later on, but right now
It's,
it's
it's
all I got.
dope, Joe. It's
Okay.
dope. But you can, if you want to upgrade Joe, fancy. Oh,
Yeah,
also,
man.
man, want to shout out Mark Cooper, Player One. He it released on streaming now. He added the Microphone Misfits and put us into the Nickelodeon Orange Tape Volume 2. So like, as my name being D Nickelodeon, like I was like, man, I gotta be on this Orange Tape thing, this Nickelodeon tribute. So man, big up to Mark Cooper and Player One and everybody. Like I'll be seeing those guys again like in March for Nerdcore Days, and some of them will be performing at South by Southwest out in Austin, Texas as well. So, definitely like support and look out. Mark Cooper, Player One, the Orange Tape.
The fits don't stop.
No,
My next stop actually is going to be in April. I'll be at C2E2. So, but I'll let you guys know about that when the
I'm
time moves on.
still waiting on
Still
that.
waiting to hear. Okay. I'm surprised. Like we're 2 months out, so they should be hitting you guys up with a yay or nay soon because like they don't usually wait this long to do that. But
Well, for talent, they do.
okay, they do. Okay.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's different. They actually gave us a rejection, and then they was like, they were like, we're not gonna have any music acts this year. We're gonna get comedians.
Are you serious? Oh wow.
But then that got like vetoed, and it was like, we changed our mind, but we'll let you know by sometime in February. I'm like, oh, okay.
February, we halfway through, so they gotta hit that call. If you guys hear this, and as the folks at C tweets, Reed Pop, hit them up. I think they just offered their New York thing too, but that's a whole other topic. We'll see you guys in like a week. Peace, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yes.
We see you guys later. Peace.
Peace.